Hello, this is Top Preps Sports Interviews by Sunil Sunder Raj. Tonight, I'm happy to be speaking with Brady Edgington, a senior at Deer Park High School in Cincinnati, Ohio, and a combo guard on the varsity basketball team. Once again, Brady, thank you so much for the opportunity. Great to be speaking with you.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
Hey, Brady, congrats, on your success, especially on the hardwood court. Can you talk about here preparing for your senior season, putting that Wildcats jersey on, one last time, here for this go around? Uh, just tell people how that has been, panning out for you so far, and just, you know, how excited you are, said to play here during the regular season.
Yes, sir. The whole summer was just work preparing for this year. Looking at the long-term goals over the short ones. I started playing with the Mid Ohio Pumas, which is a team up in Columbus, and it definitely opened my eyes to a lot more aspects of the game. So I think that this AAU season just fully prepared me as much as it could for my senior year.
Yeah. Hey, just talk about the level of competition. I'm sure you're going up against some of the best talent there is, probably not only in Ohio, but maybe across the country. I mean, just talk about how, just in terms of improving your skills and fundamentals and matching yourself up against the rest of the talent pool as well, Brady.
Yes, sir. We played in the prep hoop circuit for a few tournaments, and that was the first time in my life that I've really played against like teams from all across the country.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had all the other big tournaments that we went to. I'd say my favorite definitely was Bill Hensley in Fort Wayne.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's just a lot of competition when you're playing people from different states. Everyone plays different. You
Yeah.
get your eyes open to a whole like another part of the game.
That's terrific. And before we came, on the air, I was asking about the Preps Ohio Top 250 Expo. Just describe that, said play as well. Just in terms of the games and the talent there as well, Brady.
That camp was a great one. They ran that camp very well, and it was more so you just played a game and waited a game. I think we played 4 games that day,
Hmm.
and it ran very smoothly. It wasn't much selfish basketball there, which I like a lot.
Hmm.
And the competition was top of the state, of course. So
Yeah.
I feel like everyone in that gym got better that day, and you love to see that.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Hey, just talk about you personally in terms of your game. I was seeing some of the highlights. In terms of just got a tremendous jump shot. Just talk about being able to develop your game. Inside and out as well, outside as well, Brady.
Yes, sir. My big thing over this summer was, a lot of people know I can knock down the three ball, but
Hmm.
my big thing to work on was what happens when those shots aren't falling. So, like the little things like hustling back on defense, getting your teammates open, really being able to drive to the hoop a lot. I definitely improved on that. And all around, just communication skills. I realize that that's one of the biggest parts of the game. So I'm constantly talking now compared to probably a year or two ago. I'd talk every once in a while on defense.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, no, I just developing that team concept, and again, everybody knowing their role, in terms of being on the court, whether it's of course on the offensive end or the defensive end as well. That is critical in terms of a team's success. Hey, I say your story is again very inspirational. The fact that you played basketball and football growing up, and talking about before you came on there, that fact that you were cut from the basketball teams all the way up until high school, and then sophomore year, they said you switched to basketball, and just to add
Yes, sir.
another layer to that, the fact that you had that huge growth spurt going from 5'4" your freshman year to 6'2" now. I mean, that is just remarkable. But just, I mean, let everyone know out there, just in terms of, I mean, the fact that you were able to persevere, you were able to grind it out, you displayed that grit and determination, to keep with the game of basketball. Just talk about that, Brady.
Yes, sir. So growing up, tryouts started in second grade. I couldn't even make the C team, and I
Hmm.
went back every year, got cut every year up until high school.
Yeah.
But I mean, I never stopped going to the gym. I wouldn't let myself quit just for my love of the game.
Hmm.
And I'm really glad that I didn't, because uh, it's good to see work start to show off.
Yeah.
Um, I was more on like the chubby side growing up, so like
Hmm.
I uh, couldn't really do much on the basketball court.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, it was just a matter of me finding myself on the court. I'd say
Hmm.
finding my confidence, building up everything. I'd say.
Yeah, no, those are great traits to have. I mean, to have that again, that be able to see that size grow, like that must have felt really good. The fact that here is you got taller and in shape, and the fact that you were able to now dominate and like said showcase your skills on the court. I mean, talk about that. With being a combo guard now, talk about that position. Dive into that, and I said explain that because I'm interested with that as well, Brady.
Yes, sir. Combo guard. I used to play big, but I realized that I'm not gonna get too like too far as like a
Hmm.
short big man. So
Hmm.
I started working on my game as a guard, and I mean I wouldn't really call myself a point guard because I'm not the person bringing it up every play.
Okay.
However, I can handle it when I have to, and I'm just always trying to get the offense in flow. Like as long as I can keep the offense moving, we're gonna win games.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's important with the rotation of the basketball around the court, around the perimeter. I'm wondering, just backtracking, the fact that you had to make that decision, switching from football to basketball, and that's great. I mean, the fact that you played multiple sports helps you out with the conditioning, aspect. But how tough was that, having to leave the game of football and then, said, okay, you know what, now it's just I'm going to fully concentrate, be fully committed to the game of basketball, Brady.
Yeah, I started playing football when I was 3 years old, and
Okay.
that was my thing all of growing up, and it was pretty hard to quit, um, just because of all my friends played it and all that, and
Yeah.
I loved that sport so much, but when it came down to the two, like nothing compares to basketball, in my
Hmm.
opinion. Like if I'm having a rough day, I can go to the gym and leave with a smile on my face. And
Yeah.
football just didn't have that type of effect on me anymore.
Yeah, what are those moments when you're in the gym, said shooting by yourself, like, just I'm sure like, in terms of we talk about the physical aspect of basketball or sports itself, but the mental component, I think that's really key as well. Like, the fact that you're really in tune and you have to be, I said, especially during a practice or a game. I'm just wondering about that as well, Brady.
Yeah, I'm always listening to music. I always do things to try and keep my mind right before games. Like I've started meditating before games, and
Hmm.
just keeping my body right really has been the best thing for me.
Hmm.
But nothing really compares to going to the gym and just listening to music and playing basketball. I'd take that over going to a party any night.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. Hey, we talk about strength and conditioning, nutrition, mental health, rest and recovery. Those are, those are again so vital in terms of ingredients for success. I'm wondering how you've been able, year after year, and especially now here entering your senior year. I'm sure is really important for you to, to keep your body in the best shape possible here, Brady.
Yes, sir. It all goes back to that dream that I've always had. I've always wanted to play college basketball, and
Hmm.
by any means, I'm gonna do what I can to get there. So I just always have to keep that in the back of my mind. Like I can never stop.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, that Wildcats jersey, I'm wondering what, you put that on. What does that represent to you personally, Brady?
Um, so I transferred there this year,
Okay. Okay.
and Deer Park is pretty much where I grew up. Like that's where all my family lives.
Hmm.
Uh, you know, my grandma before she passed last year always was telling me she wanted me to go there.
Hmm.
So, it really is something bigger than basketball. Like that whole
Yeah.
community is just amazing. It's a small little community, like 2 mile radius, I'd say. And
Okay.
everyone is just so amazing there. Everyone helps each other.
Yeah, it's fantastic, to hear. Okay, we know it's just not being an athlete, it's being a student athlete. So I think it's just phenomenal, just like in terms of what your interests are with academics. The fact that you love history, social studies, reading and writing. Those are again outstanding traits to have. I really especially with reading and writing. I think it's great that you're a historical buff as well, but just to have those communication skills and have those writing skills, I'm sure like,
Yes, sir.
that really brings a lot of pride and joy in the fact that you take really, you thrive in that arena.
Yes, sir. I love writing. That's how I clear my mind a lot of the times.
Hmm.
Like, I just keep a journal. And I mean, it's not for anything other than the fact that I can just write and clear my mind.
Hmm. That's great. Just in terms of being able to balance it out, because as you know, I've talked to many athletes, student athletes, it is just very difficult. Like, in terms of time management organization, because you have, your lifts, you have your practices, watching film, and then you have the games per se, travel, like, especially with the away games, but even with the home games, having to get there, a couple hours beforehand. I'm just wondering how, what you've been able to do in terms of just, balancing that rollout, Brady.
Well, this year and past years, I've like really tried my hardest to not do any homework at home. Like, I usually try and get it all done at like a study hall or something.
Mhm.
So if I ever have to do anything at home, it doesn't take much longer than 30 minutes or so.
Okay.
And I mean, the only thing about that is just staying focused in that study hall, not like
Yeah.
just going off on my phone. I
Yeah.
got to get the homework done or else I'm going to have to do it at home.
Yeah. No, that's true. Well said. Look, we all know that there's a lot out there in terms of social media, but there's a lot of positives in terms of, the highlight videos, posting, said, training, said, sessions as well. I'm wondering how you've been able to incorporate that as well, because I think that's, again, setting yourself up. You talked about, look, I want to play college basketball, but just the fact that you're able to get your name out there, have, coaches, college coaches, recruiters can see you out there in video, can, really analyze, like, the type of player you are. But again, it's also being, as said, stand up off the court as well. But just talk about that as well, Brady.
Social media has definitely been like a big part of my life. Like, I got to watch what I post on there, and
Hmm.
just always being safe on there has been
Yeah.
the biggest key for me. And Twitter, I'm on Twitter constantly just for
Yeah.
basketball. I use that more than anything, I'd say.
Yeah. Hey, I probably, you might have addressed this or answered this earlier, but I'm just wondering, when it comes to some of the intangibles of the game of basketball, some of the things that stand out, whether it's during a practice, during a game, that you just, you stand there, you're sitting on the bench in awe, like, wow, like, this is, surreal, like, what I'm doing here. Not a lot of people had that privilege of playing the game, but the fact that you've been now playing for quite a bit, but just something that, I know you said you're in high school, but just, what is it about the game that makes it special to play here?
The way that I could look at a teammate and call them my brother and have their back,
Yeah.
and no matter what environment we go into, like if there's a rough student section or anything, like we
Hmm.
got each other, and that's all that matters.
Yeah.
That's
Uh,
really the big thing that I love about basketball is the team aspect. But really, there's nothing that I don't love about that sport.
yeah, no, that definitely. Hey, you talked about family, how much that means to you, and it's great that you're able to spend so much time because I think to sort of kick back, de-stress, from all the rigors, all the demands of playing high school basketball, going out to eat, watching movies all the time, and I love this, that you have that uh unique connection with your mom. The fact that she's never missed any of your games, records all the games, and you guys break down film. I mean, that is just that. I mean, I love that. I mean,
Yeah.
that is just fabulous. Just talk about that. That just with your. I think especially here on the high school, and you're able to do that and have an extra ear, and nothing better than having your mom, said help you out and be there every step of the way with you, Brady.
Yeah, it's definitely helped a lot. Like it's easier hearing it from your mom, I
Yeah,
guess you could say, like,
yeah.
and I mean most parents I would think like would say like just keep telling their kid they're the best, but that's the thing
Yeah.
about my mom. She'll tell me like what I need to do, and if I'm doing it wrong, she's gonna tell me that. So I don't trust anyone in the world more than my mom, and
Yeah.
that's just a unbreakable bond.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I think the fact that watching a replay a game, watching the recording that you really can pick up on the subtle nuances and like just the little things that might positives, negatives, whatever it is that where you can say, okay, this is something I have to work on, improve on for the next, practice or game. I'm wondering because it really seems like you're not only your mom, but also you are a true student of the game as well, Brady.
Yes, sir. From the little things down to like the way I shoot the ball, like if my hand goes a
Yeah,
certain direction, to following my shot after I shoot it every time.
yeah.
That's got to be a habit. So that's like I can hear her yelling into the phone as she's recording, so I
Yeah.
can know what to do better just based off of that.
Yeah,
And when we break it down, like I think it's really good to see the game at a slower pace,
yeah.
just so you can evaluate yourself. And I mean, I feel like it's definitely helped me get to the right spot a lot more times.
That's great. I know, as you alluded to, you love going to the gym, working out, watching NBA and college basketball games as well, hanging out with your friends. And I really like this that enjoy this part, like in terms of that with your friends. You mentioned that none of you play the same sport, but there's that support system in play, and to have that again, just so uh again important that the fact that you can rely on one another, you can lean on each other, said during tough times or even the best of times. Talk about that as well. Describe those moments, Brady.
Yes, sir. So most of my friends have graduated by now
Okay.
and are student athletes in college. So I
Yeah.
think that's definitely helped. Like they're just trying to prep me as much as I can,
Mhm.
assuming that I play college ball.
Yeah.
And it is great seeing them up there. Like after
Yeah.
seeing all the work that they put into, it's great seeing what that work can get you to.
Yeah. No, that's I again, the fact that you can see others that have ascended to that level and that's somewhere where you want to get, and I'm sure you can rely on them in terms of feedback and just picking their brains in terms of what you have to do to apply to your game. Hey, I just wanted to go back to Deer Park, said high school in terms of your interaction with the coaching staff. Uh, with you have the student body, administration, athletics as well. Just in terms of how that is worked out so far. For you, Brady.
Yes, sir. I have a great head coach, Coach Huseman. He
Okay.
he's an intense coach, but who doesn't love an intense coach?
Yeah.
He'll let you know when you're doing wrong, and he'll congratulate you when you do right. Like he's very straight up with all of his players, and I couldn't
Hmm.
ask for a better coach right now.
Yeah, I think those are, again, you want someone who's gonna be hands-on and who's gonna be direct and really, like, I said, be able to uh provide those lessons. I mean, we're talking about just not basketball lessons, but I think even life lessons that you're learning as you go along here. Uh,
Yes, sir.
you know, as just was wondering, I love this with your goals and dreams. You talked about playing college basketball, but this is really, like, I said, top of the cake. I mean, the fact that you want to give your family the best life possible, buy your mom a house one day.
Yes,
I
sir.
mean, this is so commendable. I mean, the fact that you want to see your hard work pay off. Those are just, again, wonderful aspirations to have, and I'm just wondering, like, for you, to really, to set that standard, for you, I'm sure is, again, is super important. It's critical for you.
Yes, sir. I didn't. I haven't came from much. Like we didn't grow up with the most money or anything like that. So I feel like I've always had like that chip on my shoulder,
Yeah.
and I've always held myself to like a standard to where I always want to be ahead of my peers.
Hmm. Yeah. No, I agree. Hey, I got a couple more before you get the last word here. I'm wondering, when it comes to since you watch the NBA and college basketball, uh, what particular players that you pay close attention to, and sort of maybe try to apply your game to, maybe some tidbits, or that or nuggets that you see out there.
Devin Booker for
Okay.
sure. Jason Tatum
Yeah.
and Desmond Bain definitely.
Yeah.
Desmond Bane's like a newer guy that I've been watching a lot, but definitely Devin Booker and uh yeah.
Yeah.
I
No,
like to watch
those.
a lot of older film too, like Hakeem. I love focusing on his footwork
Okay,
and that.
that's great. Yeah, that's I definitely the master is that spin move, especially along the baseline or even in the paint. Yeah, definitely that those. Yeah, all great players that you mentioned. Hey, I think again, your story is just so fascinating. It really, like, sitting here in awe of it. I'm wondering, for those younger kids and athletes out there, because there are a lot of them who are trying to move up the ladder and try to eventually, maybe, become one day, I said, Brady Edgington. What would you say to them in terms of, like, advice? Because there's so much pressure out there. The competition is fierce. I mean, it's not for the faint of heart. You really, have to be in it for the long haul and the long
Yes,
run. I'm
sir.
wondering what you would say to those kids out there, if they're watching this interview.
You definitely gotta find yourself like off the court before you can on the court. You gotta build up that confidence and all that and always bet on yourself. Like don't let anyone tell you that you can't do anything. Um just always put your head down and work. And if putting your head down and working doesn't get you somewhere in basketball, I'm willing to bet it would get you somewhere else in life.
Yeah, though that is just spot on. I think to have that work ethic, to again, that you're responsible and that you're willing to put in the effort, you know, every single day. I think it's just, again, yeah, that is super. Okay, Brady, you get the last word here. Final message for family, friends, your new teammates and coaching staff. Said the Deer Park High School, varsity basketball team, student body, administration, athletic department at Deer Park High School, and the community uh, of Cincinnati, Ohio. The floor is yours, Brady.
Yes, sir. Deer Park High School this year. It's gonna be a fun season. I think that. Well, I know for a fact we all got each other's back, and I love all the support that comes to our games and all that. And I'm just gonna keep working. I don't know where I'll be 3 months from now, but I know I'm gonna work my hardest. So that's just how it's gonna be. I have no offers right now or anything like that, but I don't let that phase me at all. So I'm just gonna keep my head down and keep working.
Well said. Hey, Brady, just an incredible honor and privilege being able to speak with you. Again, congrats on, said your success, and, more to come here, of course, in your senior year at Deer Park High School. And, wishing you all the best moving forward and looking forward to seeing what you do this season here.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.